Does Morena want to take your inheritance? This is the question that many people are asking after Justice Lenia Batres suggested that inheritances should be taxed. So in this video, I'll explain where the controversy came from and how true it is. The controversy began during a session of the Supreme Court, where the justices were discussing whether the Afore funds received by the relatives of deceased workers should be taxed. Regarding this, 6 justices rejected that possibility, considering that these funds are part of the worker's estate and are intended to provide economic protection to their beneficiaries. However, during the discussion, the self-styled People's Justice, Lenia Batres, shifted the debate to another topic and expressed that, in her opinion, inheritances and legacies should indeed be taxed in Mexico. She argued that those who receive an inheritance acquire assets that did not come from their own effort, so she considered it legitimate to tax them. To support her position, she pointed out that this type of taxation is common internationally and highlighted that currently, 24 OECD countries apply inheritance taxes.
I believe that what is unfair is not taxing inheritances and legacies. Both in this case and in the case of inheritance and legacy, a person receives assets they did not earn through their own effort. Thank you.
Batres also argued that taxing inheritances would be a fair and essential tool to redistribute wealth, reduce inequality between generations, and promote greater economic equity by pointing out that the richest 10% of the population holds most of the assets. She clarified that the Supreme Court lacks authority to create taxes, as only Congress of the Union holds that responsibility. As you can imagine, the justices' statements prompted a quick response from the opposition. Senator Lili Teles from PAN stated that Morena intends to push for an inheritance tax as part of an alleged plan by President Sheinbaum to obtain extraordinary resources from citizens' assets. She also warned that a measure like this could force people to pay almost half of what they inherit. She also stated that Batres' statements were not a coincidence, but rather a way to gauge the public's reaction to a possible tax reform. And for that reason, she called on the population to express their rejection of any such initiative.
That it is actually a plan by President Sheinbaum to get money. She asked that foolish Minister Batres, to publicly propose the idea of taxing inheritances in order to gauge the level of opposition to that initiative. We must raise our voices against theft.
Meanwhile, amid the controversy, the president completely ruled out pushing for an inheritance tax and assured that such a measure is not part of her government's agenda. No.
I don't agree with that. That's the minister's opinion, and she has every right to have an opinion. In our case, we don't believe that inheritances should be taxed, even though they are taxed in practically every country in the world.
You should know that currently in Mexico, there is no federal inheritance tax. According to current legislation, inheritances and bequests are exempt from income tax, regardless of the amount inherited or the relationship between the person leaving the assets and the person receiving them. In practice, the only payments that might apply depend on the legislation of each state, such as the property acquisition tax when real estate is inherited. Additionally, if the value of the inherited assets exceeds 500,000 pesos, they must be reported to the SAT in the annual tax return. However, this does not mean that taxes must be paid. What do you think? Do you think inheritances should be taxed? Tell us your opinion in the comments, and if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell.